Welcome to the Pandemonium Witches podcast, where the ADHD has just a touch of the tism, where the true crime is just as scary as the hauntings and unsolved cases, and the hosts never stay on topic for long. I'm Kat.
I'm Rachel.
I'm Em. And I'm Meg.
We are the Pandemonium. Oh, guten Tag.
Oh, good mornings.
We had an exciting morning.
Oh, I bet.
3:30 this morning. Oh, at least, she's telling us.
Oh, yeah.
She has to go to the bathroom. She now associates the back door with the bathroom, and every time we go outside, we ring the bell. So she knows, but I was exhausted. I was like, you're getting her. And I literally turned over. and I have a little tiny moo, like a little tiny Highland cue that Rachel and Josh
Inspired.
sneaky sneaks. It was, his name is Senor Mumu. He's got a little plaid, but I literally got him in the crook of my elbow and just tried to go back to sleep. So I was off and on asleep for 4 hours. And then finally I just woke up. I was like, I can't, like, I'm trying, but I can't. You could see raising a puppy is like raising a baby. I know this. Now he gets to know this. I know
Life lessons.
Huh?
Life lessons for everybody.
Well, he's like, I've raised a baby. I have too. He's like the Hulk. He's always tired. That's a secret. He's always tired. But
Because he maxes out on caffeine every day.
caffeine doesn't do shit for him. We're 1 minute in. I don't care. Caffeine does no shit for him. He drinks Death Wish.
Interesting.
And to top it all off, he has a Dr. Pepper before bed. He has 2 Dr. Peppers with dinner. And he has Dr. Pepper after he finishes coffee, just all throughout the day. Does this bitch drink coffee? Or what? Excuse me. Does he drink water? No. His excuse is there's water in all of it.
Water. Speaking of which, do you have your hydration station? I have a buddy on today.
You gotta set up your hydration station. What'd you bring? What is that?
It is Tropical Punch Body Armor.
I heard body armor is good for women who are nursing.
Yes, because it has 1,309. Well, this one because it's the 28 fluid ounces one. It's got 1,390 milligrams of electrolytes, B vitamins, antioxidants, vitamins A, C, and E, coconut water, magnesium, zinc, niacin, folate, potassium, and sodium's not too high either. For the whole bottle, it's like 50 milligrams of sodium, so it's not bad.
That's not bad at all.
No, it's really good, like if you're working out, or like not hydrated whatsoever.
I know. Wow, I just hit puberty. I know. Body armor was all that a couple of my friends had when they were nursing. That's what they suggested. Fun fact, did you know that if you have surgery or C-section, you should chew gum?
Yes, it helps motivate the gut.
So, we have a couple of new people following us, so we'll get to that first. Um,
Food's here.
Go ahead. We're gonna do. Have you done your medication? You should probably take your meds. Set up your hydration station. You dehydrated houseplants. Looking at you.
What?
Drink water. No, that's a diuretic. Water is not coffee. I understand water is in coffee, but that, you know what? Regardless, I love you. Giant pain in my patootie. I tried to remind everybody to take their meds.
I already took mine.
I looked at him and I said, this includes you, you dehydrated houseplant. And he goes, there's water in coffee. It's a diuretic. Do you know what a diuretic does? It helps you poop, which means you lose water. Did you know that every time you poop, you lose water? Like
Yes,
our
I did.
baby, a little baby puppy, who's just laying on the couch, sweet as can be. I'll put some pictures in of her, but we finally have gotten to, we know why she's practically pissing out of her butt. It's because of stress. So there's that. But her stuff is almost 100% at normal. I did the hint last time. Would you like to give them a hint for October?
Trying to think.
Okay, don't hurt yourself.
Rude. Um, it's we'll be doing further expansion on topics we've covered before.
That is a good hint.
I was trying to think of something that we haven't already said.
Well, we've discussed over the last couple of episodes hints. Well, I got to let you guys know we are going to be taking a break after October, Haunted October. Reason being is your girls are exhausted.
We tired bitches.
We very tired bitches. Rachel and I do a case every other day, I want to say. And it's gotten to the point where I'm sleep deprived most of the time because I'm working on these. Plus, as we did last year, we have an episode every other day in October except for Saturdays and Sundays. So it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, which means I have 3 times the caseload to edit and get prepped for you wonderful spooky bitches. Oh wait, no, I can't say that. You feral bitches. So that being said, we're gonna have our last episode on Halloween like we did before, and then take a little hiatus. This time we're gonna take 3 months off before we start our second season. But on our second season, we should have our new intro, thanks to Alex and his new band, which I have to tell you, they told me their name. Well, Alex did. Do you want to hear it? Okay. So it's called Nowhere Kids. It's kind of cool, right?
It really is. I am.
I caught Rachel mid-munch. I asked her. But I'm really excited for what they put out because some of the stuff that he sent me, it's like reminding me of like classic grungecore. Like, you know, early Clash, like early oh god. Me First and the Gimme Gimmes, when they first came around, before they started doing covers, they were like really early grunge. And they did a lot of like big band stuff. but that was my first grunge band growing up, was them, Nirvana, Red Hot Chili Peppers. I know a lot of people are like, that's not grunge. Listen to their old albums. No Doubt, when they first came out, was grunge.
They used to be. Then they got bigger and things happen.
Right. So, but we do have some updates on our follow count. Do you want to go over that before we dive into today? Okay. All right. So on Spotify, in the span of 4 days, we have 101 followers. In the last 24 hours, or well, last week, we've gained 6 whole followers, which is, as far as YouTube goes, our channel, it's still got 24 subscribers, which ain't nothing to sneeze at. Last but not least, I got a couple of windows open, so I have to keep them open so I can go through. Let's see here. Our Facebook has 71 followers. I know. It was at 35 last week. So, that being said, we're going to go over to our, where is it? I got the wrong window up. Hold on. Check this page. Our Instagram has 110 followers. So, So, of course, before we get into today, there is no real trigger warning needed, but we are discussing a haunted state for today.
Oh my god!
Road trip.
Okay.
Kind of
So
breaking up the reprieve,
So there's no trigger warning, but it's haunted. Okay.
I mean, you got to give me some leeway, We can't. Also, that many thanks to Georgia, my lovely, lovely friend, who is my local bestie, as well as Casey, who has informed me of slow feeders. I love slow feeders. She's still eating her breakfast from this morning. So, you have your hydration station. You've taken your meds. Have you taken your meds? Okay. So, let me go into my account. All right. So, today is our 96th episode. We're counting down to episode 100, which will be on October 1st. But today we're going to be talking about a state that is very near and dear to my heart because I went there before I broke up with my ex-boyfriend for being a cheating, philanthroping bastard, and we went to Forks. I'm going to insert some photos because I loved it, because I'm definitely a Twihard, and Rachel and I both know this. I love Twilight. We have a Twilight bathroom. I'll put that photo in there too. My husband thinks it's funny, but it's one of my feel-good movies. If I don't want to watch White Christmas or Brigadoon, which are my 2 favorite musicals, you know that, I put on Twilight. So if Rachel calls me and she hears that hoo-ah, 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 hoo-ah,
I know what's going on.
she'll be like, who hurt you? So today we're talking about Washington State.
So I had heard you make it while I was on the phone with you, so I didn't hear like the sound effects or anything. Oh my god.
making that audio was funny as fuck. Because I was on YouTube looking at some of the sounds and I was like, oh, that's cool. I like that. Oh, that's cool. I like that. So I just layered it all and put it all together and did different voice modifications on my soundboard, which was awesome. But anyways, the subject for today, I'm sorry for all you headphone wearing people. That was loud. Washington, known as the Evergreen State. I'm looking at you, Jeffrey and Constance, for suggesting I do Washington, is often referred to Washington State to distinguish it from the nation's capital, which is both named for Washington, George Washington, who was a fuck. Anyways, we're not going to get into him today because he was a racist fucktard. So, the capital of Washington is Olympia. The state flower is the Pacific. Oh God. Pronounce this word. Okay, hold on. Rhododendron. The Pacific rhododendron. The state bird is the American goldfinch. As of 2022, it had 7.786 million people. That is including the cryptids that live in the trees. Famous Washingtonians include Chuck Close, who's an artist, cartoonist Gary Larson. Oh,
I can just imagine the census people going around and tolling the cryptids.
let's see here. Mothman, check. Sasquatch, check, check, check. There's 5 of them. Okay, check, check.
Like, do they break it down into houses if there's multiple? Like households?
Shout out to Georgie. She's checking in with me. I love that. So they have cartoonist Gary Larson, musician Jimi Hendrix is from Washington, along with singer Bing Crosby, who you know has my heart, aside from my husband, and Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates. Okay. Indigenous people, there are 29 federally recognized tribes throughout Washington, and they are, I know I'm going to butcher these names, so I do apologize. Chehalis, Colville, Howletts, Ho, H-O-H. I'm not calling Rachel a hoe. That's the name of the tribe. Jamestown, Shakalam, Kalispell, Lower Elwha, Column, Lumi, which I know about the tribe, the Lumi tribe, Maka, Muckleshoot, Nisqually, Nooksack, Port Gamble, Sakalam. Taking a little breather break, Jesus. Halyup, Quillette. Did I say that right? Okay. It's Twilight. Which I'm still mad that she is not given a single portion of her money. The tribe. Yeah, you too. She's snacking. Let her snack. Quinault, Samish, Suxotl, Saltwater Bay, Skomish, Spokane. We had this problem last time. The AOA would also like to recognize a couple of other ones, which are Duwamish, Wanapum, and Chinook. Those tribes are not recognized by the U.S. federal government, but they have had a long history with present-day Washington. There are 140,000 native citizens in Washington state alone. And one of the common misconceptions regarding the tribal artwork in Washington state is that totem poles are traditional art forms from the Coast Salish people. I did a deep dive on this. That is not correct. That is a big no-no. Totem poles are actually crests that represent clans from the indigenous people of coastal Alaska and Canada. The reason why totem poles are associated with Seattle is because a group of men from Seattle came across a totem pole while in Alaska in 1899 and took it. A white man. Mm-hmm. So the group brought the totem pole back to Seattle, and it was known as the Seattle Totem. The Tlingit Indians later sued for unlawful removal of the totem, and the courts ruled in favor of their people. Give it up for that. Of course, a lot of notable movies have been filmed in and around Washington, such as the rom-com Sleepless in Seattle, Boys in a Boat, lovely throwback to the 80s, An Officer and a Gentleman, The Ring, Crimson Tide, 10 Things I Hate About You, Outlander, Practical Magic, Free Willy, Ring of Fire, Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me, Benny and June, The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, The River Murders, The Hunt for the Red October. My personal movie out of this whole list that I love and have watched more times than I've watched Twilight, which is sad, is Safety Not Guaranteed, guys. It's about time travel. Watch it. It's funny as hell. Say Anything. Everybody loves that movie. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Top Gun Maverick. Joyride. Another movie that's a favorite of me and Josh's is The Knights of Badassdom, which is about LARPing and D&D. Which, speaking of which, our lovely Rachel had her first campaign last night. She's eating.
You asked me that while I had bread in my mouth. But no, it was really fun. Started off as a level 2, and by the time we called it a night, I got to be a level 3. I am a druid half-elf, whose name I kind of took from Cat. So my half-elf is non-binary, and their name is Rowan Aetherwood.
Love it.
I was like, I have to come up with a name. Well, I've always loved the name Rowan. I named my Jeep Rowan well before the books. And then I was just like, I need kind of an elfy sounding name. Huh? I'm gonna name my half elf Woodwood. Oh, and they're of the land. Of the I guess it's like their discipline or something. Yeah, so she's a druid, or they're a druid of the land, and yeah, it was a lot more fun than I thought it was going to be. Definitely helped that the group that I was doing it with is hilarious. They're pretty up our alley for the most part.
I mean, any D&D enthusiast, the ones that find the good groups that are just super fun throughout the whole thing. I love doing D&D with Emily, and then a friend of ours locally told us about this shop down the way that does D&D, but we haven't had time to just go down there and enjoy it. So I think we're going to try and do a session before we leave. But going forward, the rest of the movies are Die Hard 2, Toys with Robin Williams, which if you haven't seen it, it's very circa early 90s. You can see the hair. And you're going to see what I'm talking about with the flop. Twin Peaks, both 1 and 2, and of course our favorite franchise, Twilight. Our favorite franchise used to be Harry Potter, but fuck that turf. Anyway, so the most, not Harry Potter, obviously. Harry Potter's not a turf. Most famous for some serial killers, which have been asked. We've already covered one of them, Gary Ridgway, along with Ted Bundy and Gary Grant, which I thought Gary Grant was a crooner. No, I'm thinking of Cary Grant. Not the same person.
the same person at all.
I know. I thought you were trying to hit the button.
I was trying to hit the button. It wasn't going.
So, you guys here are here not for the haunted shit. No. You guys aren't here for history. You guys are here for the terrible things that happen. So, of course, in alphabetical order, we start with the Black Diamond Cemetery. So it was founded in 1884, and it sits hidden in trees marked by wooden signs, kind of like those older cemeteries are. It contains more than 1,000 graves, so more than 1,200. The tombstones mark local residents that came from backgrounds of Wales, Italy, Australia, Russia, Germany, etc. They have their home countries on there. A Civil War veteran and previous mayor is buried there, along with children who have died in the early 1900s from an outbreak of smallpox and the flu, which we will discuss a little later.
At least those kids have their eyes if they do honey hauntings.
Can confirm, as somebody who walked through the Olympia National Forest, my ex didn't believe me, and then he saw one, and then it disappeared, and I was like, do you believe me now? Hydrate, you salty bitches. Okay, so half a dozen buried are mine workers who died in explosions in 1902, 1910, and 1915.
Because gases and open flames don't mix. It a little strong, a little bit tart.
So tart. I'm okay. All right. Now on to the paranormal bullshit. So one of the cemetery's most famous claims is the appearance of floating lantern lights drifting among the treetops. Some say these are the spirits of miners still on shift, carrying their lamps as they search for a way home. Others claim that the lights belong to mourners still watching over their loved ones. Guys, it's fireflies. I hate to tell you this, like as somebody who's gone to some of these places numerous times. I've gone to Washington a couple of times. It's fireflies. She's moving. We got her a slow feeder bowl. I wanted to introduce her slowly to it. She's scraping the bottom of the bowl, trying to get the rest of her pumpkin puree out. So, visitors at the Black Diamond Cemetery often report the sound of heavy boots crunching on gravel, pacing behind them when no one is there.
I mean, yeah, because the miners' boots were heavy, so I mean, that would make sense that they're walking around because they were suddenly yoinked from this plane, and they probably want to just finish their shift and go back home.
More than likely. I mean, the kind of feeling I get when I'm there is just morose. It's just sad. I mean, cemeteries are sad in itself, but there's also whispers, soft calls, even children's laughter being heard, particularly near the oldest graves, which can confirm there are children that do play near the older graves. Despite being outdoors, certain areas of the cemetery are known for abrupt temperature drops, even in the heat of summer. In Washington, there are 7 days of no rain. Cue the song No Rain by Blind Melon. If you haven't heard that song, it's a great song. Again, the 90s were our childhood. So in Washington, it's out of all the states in the United States, including Alaska, where there are almost 300 days of daylight, Washington has the most sunglass sales out of all of the states. I can confirm why, because I was blinded.
She went behind you, by the way. You're welcome.
Thank you. Freya would have had a fit if Freya, funny enough, ate the flowers for Freya's altar.
We gonna need to get her a little child's gate or something. If I can put up against the door. We're gonna need to get a little like kid's gate. Put it up against the door.
Listen, I was already looking for a baby gate, and it's a long one, so I can actually put it right here, which I actually, honey, while we're out today, we're gonna pick up the baby gate. Walmart. So anyways, back to haunted shit. So, these cold spots often appear near graves of those who died in the mining explosions. Shadowy human forms have been spotted weaving between headstones at dusk. Some describe them in miners in period work clothes, complete with hard hats and old-style caps. Strangely, some visitors claim the smell of coal smoke or burning wood in certain sections, even though there are no fires nearby, possibly a sensory echo of the town's mining era.
It's exactly what it is. Because those men, their lives got cut short, so like they went into the ground still covered with the stuff that killed them. So yeah, it's going to reminisce there.
Ruminate. Sort of. The spirits are gonna marinate in the the cemetery. So I know we talked about it on the California episode that there's a Bodie. Did you know that there's a Bodie, Washington?
I did not, but somehow I'm not surprised.
Well, as there is both a Bodie in Washington and one in California, they're both ghost towns, just to let you know. And they're both extremely haunted. If you see anything in that town, Bodie and in California and Washington, don't touch it. Do not take it. Leave it.
Yeah, not surprising whatsoever that it's haunted as fuck.
So it was founded in the late 1880s in Okanogan County, Washington. It once thrived during the gold rush era, but in the 1930s, the boom had fizzled, leaving behind empty buildings, a cemetery, and a lingering the peanut gallery on this side of the microphone needs to shut the fuck up. The lingering sense of isolation. You know what? I'm about to come over there. I'm about to shut these doors. Owned by the fires, disease, outbreaks, and mining accidents took their toll on the town, leaving behind, I already said that, like many boom towns, and left behind a trail of tragedy along with its gold. There was still gold. There's still gold that can be found up there. Owned by the Bodie Mining Company, which was backed by the Wrigley brothers. Yes, the ones that make the gum. This mine was operated on until the 1917s. Today, there are several structures on either side of the Terota Creek Road. The real treat is how well preserved the buildings are, down to the possessions left inside the premises of the former residence, which there was still remnants on plates when local hunters came through. Yeah, ghost hunters. There were, uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised animals didn't get in there and get it, like rats or something.
Some of them did, but it looked like it solidified over time. Like when I went there, there was still, like, it stuck to the plate. So, are you ready for the paranormal? Okay. Visitors have claimed to see figures in dusty work clothes walking near the old mine shafts or leaning in doorways of long abandoned buildings. These visions or apparitions often vanish once approached. Inside the rotting structures, people have reported faint conversation or whispering, hammering, or the rhythmic clang of pickaxes as if work in the mines never stopped. It's trying to calm her down because our dog is like on crack. So, the small graveyard in Bodie is a paranormal hotspot. Many graves belong to people who died in the mining accidents or from disease. And some visitors report feeling an overwhelming sadness or summer chills. I love you. I look like a fucking potato. Or a strong sensation of being watched. We have a group chat we talked about before for all four of us on Snap, and she just took a picture of me.
I was in the photo too.
Yeah, a little bitty. So, several ghost hunters have photographed dark silhouettes in the upper windows of abandoned houses. I've looked at these photos, and they've been like actual photos, and they're valid. Particularly in the old general store and in the boarding houses. A few accounts describe the sensation of being tapped on the shoulder or have their clothes tugged at while exploring, only to turn around and find no one is there.
Dun dun.
Um, and as you can see, Emily is not here today. She just responded. She is having a massive migraine attack. She is in bed and not to come on here.
Which is good because she needs rest for the migraine.
Yeah, her migraines get pretty bad. So, of course, this was one of the main talking points. Jeffrey wanted me to discuss the Campbell House. No, they did not make chicken soup. The Campbell House was once a home of wealthy mining investors. It is now a museum of domestic life at the turn of the 20th century. Pretty nice. We like that, right? Built in 1898 for mining magnate Amasa B. Campbell. The Grand Mansion in Spokane's? Okay, you know what? This is going to bug me the whole episode. Hold on. All right.
Spokane.
Oh, I am so wrong. Spokane. All right. So sorry, Washingtonites. I fucking butchered your name. How is it said again?
Spokane.
Okay. Spokane.
At least that's what I heard.
Well, it's in Spokane's Browns Addition neighborhood, and it was a showcase of wealth during the city's mining boom. So, the Campbells lived there from 1924 and until 1924, when Amasa's widow Grace donated the house to the Eastern Washington State Historical Society. Today, it is part of the Northwest Museum of Arts and Culture. I've been there. It is spooky, can confirm. 10 out of 10. The house does have a dark side as listed in the very, and is indeed very spoopy. I put such haunt all ghosts. While the Campbell house is beautifully preserved, its history includes whispers of family tragedy and the mystery that have fueled paranormal rumors for decades. I do get a very uneasy feeling when I went there, but we'll talk about the other stuff. So in the early What is she doing? In the early 1900s, a burglar murdered 3 of the Campbell children and kidnapped the 4th child. The child was never returned and was never found. People have reported cold spots and an overwhelming feeling of sadness and dread. And a portrait of Amasa Bazale Campbell in the house is said to follow visitors with its eyes as they wander the house, perhaps looking for the kidnapper if they ever return. Certain photos or portraits that were done in the late 1800s, early 1900s, there's a style where the photos look like their eyes move, but they don't. Rachel knows we both have a Roman era of the Victorian age, and it has been asked that we cover Titanic.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I was thinking it's probably going to be a 4-hour episode because there's no way.
It would definitely be a multi-parter.
Well, I mean, Titanic itself is a multi-parter.
Thread. It's so bad.
You were thinking it. I just said it.
I was not thinking that.
Okay, someone was, because that's funny as hell.
She ran in. And then I guess she ran back out.
So if you see a blur of black and white and beige, that's our husky.
She'd be running around like a hooligan.
She's back in the kitchen. When I say she's on crack, I mean it.
Puppy zoomies.
All the zoomies. So, the visitors and staff have reported to claim to hear, run that back. What the fuck was that? Visitors and staff have claimed to hear whispers or soft conversations, giggling, and even someone calling their name when no one else is nearby. A little girl is often seen peeking around corners or darting into rooms. She is usually connected with rumors about the Campbells' only daughter, Helen. A man in an old-fashioned suit is sometimes seen in the dining room or in the library and thought to be Amasa Campbell himself. He did match the portrait in the formal room, so I would have to agree. Certain areas of the house, especially a grand staircase and the servants' quarters, have been known to have sudden temperature drops, even when the rest of the house is warm. There is no central AC, guys. They do not leave the windows open. It gets cold in there. Okay, she's playing tug of war. Staff have reported objects moving on their own, such as, you're going to love this, furniture in the rooms moving by themselves overnight.
No, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you.
They're trying to do a little feng shui.
A little reorganization.
Doors that are locked that are mysteriously opening, as they do. And a music box in the upstairs bedroom reportedly plays by itself.
Thank you.
As someone who has been to half of these locations, I have to agree with you. I loved the architecture. I loved the house. It was one of the road trips that I made by myself where I just drove and drove and drove, and I made it there, and I was like, I guess I'm going to stay here for a few days. Many visitors say they were intensely observed while walking through certain rooms, especially the library and the upstairs hallway. If you ever go, the library is beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. It reminds me of if Belle and Beast had a tiny house. like a Victorian house, this is the house that they would have.
Very nice. I like it. Just not the haunted part.
I mean, I myself am a haunted house, so, there you go. One popular but historically debated tale states that Campbell's daughter Helen was kidnapped and murdered, but her spirit remained in the house. In reality, Helen lived into adulthood, even though the legend persists and feeds into ghost sightings of a little girl. I'm pretty sure it's just an echo of her because she had her happiest memories in that house. Another story suggests a servant died suddenly in the home, possibly from illness, and is responsible for the creaking footsteps and occasional shadowy movements in the servants' quarters.
I mean, it's probably all looped from energy.
Probably more than likely, because if there's enough kinetic energy left behind, then,
Probably why the furniture keeps moving. And the servants are still going about their daily business.
I mean, that's what happens at the Winchester Mystery House and at the Hearst Castle. So, I mean, it's funny because people are like, no, that's not a thing. I'm like, okay, see how this room is? Wait until tomorrow. Okay, so next is the Cascade Tunnel. It refers to two major railroad tunnels through Stevens Pass in the Cascade Mountains. It's known for a site of the biggest disasters in U.S. railroad history. You can walk through the Iron Goat Trail until you find the wreckage of the abandoned tunnel. The original tunnel, built in 1900, was just over 2.6 miles long and quickly gained a reputation as dangerous. The deadliest event in the tunnel tied to the tunnel is one that cemented its haunted reputation, which was known as the Wellington Avalanche disaster of March 1st, 1910. I knew it was coming. On that fateful day in 1910, an avalanche swept through two trains off their tracks, causing the collapse of the tunnel, which killed 100 people. Have to love allergies. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. A massive snowslide swept two trains off the tracks near the west portal of the old tunnel, killing 96 people. This remains one of the worst train disasters in all of U.S. history. That's saying something. Coal burning locomotives filled the confined space with toxic fumes, and multiple accidents did occur over time. It was replaced in 1929 by a longer tunnel, just under 8 miles, to improve safety, but tragedy had already left its mark. It is not safe to enter, so please do not trespass, do not try. However, people have reported hearing disembodied voices from outside the tunnel along the trail. You can get permission, like our lovely bagel bites. Bagel hands got permission. Hikers and rail workers have reported seeing shadowy figures in early 1900s clothing standing near the old tunnel entrance and sometimes holding lanterns. And of course, they vanish or fade into the snow. Floating lights resembling minor or railroad lanterns have been spotted deep inside the old tunnel and along the abandoned track leading to it. Guys, again, fireflies. I'm fine. I'm slowly dying. Hold on. I was like, I need a Mucinex. So echoing train whistles where no train runs is also heard. Screams and panicked voices carried on the wind near the avalanche site. The sound of metal wheels on rails, even though the old tracks are completely gone. Both explorers and paranormal investigators have reported abrupt freezing chills and temperature drops inside the tunnels, which does happen because they're in the mountain, even in summer, often accompanied by a feeling of choking or suffocation.
No, thank you. No, thank you at all. I do not like that. Not at all.
Normally, it's in the beginning of spring and at the end of summer when I get this nasal congestion. Rachel knows it's bad. So, they said it was excuse me, again, suffocation, as Josh was saying, no breathing. Possibly tied to deadly smoke incidents from coal engines. There is a strong odor of burning coal and oil that has been reported in the tunnel, especially in areas of exhaust where it once pooled, despite no active steam trains in nearby Century. But the people have been seen. Our ghost engineer said to walk the length of the tunnel with a lantern, searching for missing passengers. Eternal passengers. Some claim to hear the sound of people boarding or disembarking trains in the darkness, as though the tragic night is replaying everything in a loop, which we did talk on an earlier episode, and the avalanche victims. At night, hikers near the site have claimed to see ghostly figures huddled together, shivering before disappearing into the snow. Then we have what people don't constitute as something haunted, but it is, which is City Hall in Seattle, Washington. Seattle's current City Hall is a modern glass and steel building completed in 2003. While it doesn't have much in the way of ghost lore, its land is tied to some very eerie history. So the first City Hall, built in the late 1800s, was located in Pioneer Square, not far from the sites connected to the early rough historic days of the city. Opium dens, brothels, saloons, and the infamous, we've all heard about it, the Great Fire of 1889. So that area is well known for hauntings connected to the Seattle Underground, which people were just like, oh, it's underground. No. Seattle Underground was like above ground. I was this year old when I found out that the Underground Railroad was above ground and not actually under the dirt. Don't shake your head at me. I'm still learning things. So, okay, she's waking up still. Paranormal shit that has been experienced. Our city employees and visitors have reported seeing shadowy human shapes moving through alleys and side streets near the old City Hall site, sometimes dressed in 19th century clothing. The Seattle Underground, a network of buried storefronts and passageways underneath Pioneer Square, runs close to where early city offices were originally located. Footsteps, whispered and hushed voices, and the sound of furniture being moved are currently reported here. Underground! No thank you! Some ghost tours say that the land beneath the original City Hall carries residual haunting or looped energy from the 1889 fire, and the smell of smoke or burning wood occasionally is reported on still nights. The local lore claims a ghostly security guard still patrols the old municipal district, and he is described as wearing an old-fashioned uniform and is often seen near buildings that served as civic offices in the late 19th century. Because of course they were.
But it also makes sense, he's still on patrol.
I have quite a lot of information on Washington because there was a lot, but we're only on page 6 of 20. So today's going to be a long episode. I apologize, but not really, because this was some fun research.
I was about to say, you ain't sorry.
I'm not. So the Everett Theater is next. The Everett Theater is located in Everett, and was a mill town 25 miles south of Seattle, north of Seattle. It opened in 1901 as a grand vaudeville and opera house. Over the years, it's hosted everything from silent films to live concerts to huge acts such as the Marx Brothers, Fatty Arbuckle, and George Cohen.
That is a interesting list of names.
Not anything that I would ever see together, but here we are. So, fires, renovations, and decades of performances have left their mark on the theater, and some believe that former actors, staff, and patrons never actually left. One renovation started in the early 90s, in 93. That's when the haunted shit started to happen. People felt watch. Doors would mysteriously open and not shut, and whoever is haunting the theater is known to frequent the projector room and has moved things in front of people right before their eyes.
It was probably one of the old real kids or something.
They're saying it was. So there's a guy by the name of Charlie. They call Charlie. He's one of the most famous spirits at the Everett Theater and is believed to be a former stagehand or actor. They say Charlie was a vaudeville actor who died suddenly during a show. Others say he's a crew member who fell from the flyloft, which is the trusses above. They report seeing a shadowy man in old-fashioned clothes backstage, hearing footsteps on catwalk, and there's nobody up there, and lights and stage equipment being tampered with when the area is empty and things are just fucked with. Actors rehearsing alone have heard applause, whispered voices, or giggling from the balcony. Some describe the laughter as playful, others as mocking. Patrons and staff have reported a woman in a long dress sitting in the upper balcony watching performances, even during empty rehearsals. She reportedly fades away after approach. And a piano stored backstage is said to play on its own, even though it is not a piano player. You know those piano player pianos.
Right. Yeah, no thanks. Not at all.
So even with no doors or windows open, curtain seats, especially the upper balcony, are known for icy drafts, feeling like someone brushes past you. And of course, there is a woman in what?
Hey, always that one color. No,
White.
every time. No.
Every fucking time. There is a woman in white. This woman is seen in the balcony, known as the actress in white, maybe tied to an early 20th century performer who collapsed on stage and then later died. No? Okay, we can
No
move
thanks.
on. So
No thanks at all.
The Fort Vancouver National Historic Site over the Columbian River stands partially in Washington and on the edge of Oregon. I've been there. It's absolutely beautiful. However, haunted as fuck.
Because of course it is.
So, Fort Vancouver was originally established in 1825 as Hudson Bay's Company fur trading post. Because, of course, it's a fort. It's going to. And later became a U.S. Army post and frontier community hub and the site for missionary work. This has been known as the busiest Army hospital in the early 1900s. And you know what that means?
Haunted as fuck, but also I'm not surprised that it was a large military hospital because literally port.
Yeah. So they're thinking about renovating it and turning it into an artist's loft.
No. Times 10,000 billion.
Well, it's on the edge of I-5. And if you know, I-5 goes from down over by the Mexican border all the way up to Canada. It's known as the coastal route. that's the route that I normally took when I would drive up north to Washington and Oregon. I-5 itself is haunted as fuck, but besides the point. Visitors and reenactors who have stayed at the fort have reported full-body apparitions in 19th century military uniforms or Hudson Bay Company trader attire. These figures often appear at dusk or in dimly lit buildings, vanishing if approached. There are whispers in English. I have boogies. English, French, and Chinook jargon have been heard in empty rooms, and Chinook is one of the tribes there. Faint fiddle music or the sound of boots marching on wooden floors sometimes drifts from locked buildings. No, thank you.
I mean, they had to pass the time at night somehow. Might as well enjoy a little music.
Right, I completely agree. Also, anyways, strong scent of tobacco has been reported in the chief factor's house and barracks, even when no one is smoking, because it's a historic site, so you're not supposed to smoke. Some say it's the lingering presence of the senior officers and traders. Oh my god.
Right, because they used to smoke, so it makes sense that if they're visiting, I guess you would say, that they, the smoke still emanates. I think that's the right word.
She was running around with a Q-tip in her mouth. Anyways.
Dumb.
At night, small glowing lights resembling old oil lanterns have been spotted moving between buildings or alongside stockade walls. Again, fireflies. Over the last 20 or so years, fireflies have been migrating northern because it's getting warmer and warmer in the northern states. In some of the oldest structures, visitors describe abrupt cold spots and a feeling of pressure, even though the air, as though the air is thicker and harder to breathe. Over nearly 2 centuries, the area saw disease outbreaks, violent clashes, accidental deaths, hardship, leaving behind a giant well of death and ghost stories.
I hate it so much.
You're welcome. The most spiritually active building on the site is the Grant House Art Center, which sits on Officers Row. Can confirm. Haunted as fuck. Phones will ring while they're unplugged. While I was there, the phones were unplugged and they would ring. Doors open and closed on their own. One particular ghost, nicknamed Sully, likes to sit in the cafe, drink coffee. Just sit there, drink coffee.
Just like the people watch.
So the barracks, they see shadow figures pacing the hall, possible soldiers who are on duty. The old hospital is linked to outbreaks of measles, cholera, and TB. So they have strange sounds or feelings of dread being reported there. No. Hold on. Can I?
Under your foot.
No, I can't pause this. We'll get back to our regularly scheduled bullshit in just a second. Okay, so the Pearson Airfield area was built. Okay. The Pearson Airfield area was built near the fort. Some pilots have spotted unusual lights and figures walking the grounds at night. Again, the lights are probably the fireflies, but there was a woman in a blue dress, not a white one, thought to be the spirit of a trader's wife or an officer's spouse, not spout. She's not a water. Often wandering near the gardens because there's a beautiful garden area there. The Lonely Sentinel is said to be a soldier in uniform, reportedly patrols the stockade's perimeter, disappearing at the front gate and fading from view. And the trader's table is in the blacksmith or trading buildings. Objects have been known to move, and tools are sometimes found in different spots overnight. So, We're at the 1 hour mark, probably earlier than that because I cut out a bunch of stuff. We're now at my personal favorite, Georgetown Castle. So the castle that I told you I wanted to run down the hallway, this is that castle. I want to run down this hallway. It's absolutely gorgeous. So, of course, let me see if I can get you a picture. Because I didn't save some of it. Because the hallway is this old Victorian house. And it's gorgeous. But it's known, of course, as the castle. Isn't it beautiful? Okay, so it's a neighborhood in Seattle that is currently known for its trendy breweries, art stores, and it's near Boeing Field, where a lot of the air people work. This area was originally known for its bootlegging, brothels, and illegal gambling. Georgetown Castle on Carlton Avenue was a painted lady or a Victorian home with melon colors and built by a blackjack dealer and used as a brothel. Because of course it was. It was originally the home of a wealthy local industrialist, Peter Gessner, and the castle has been since used for a variety of purposes such as private residence, event venue, and a filming location for some spooky horror movies. I love your shirt, by the way.
It's one of my favorites. It's so soft too.
That's why I'm wearing this one. I'm having a very autistic day today.
I get that.
All of my shirts that I love to wear are dirty because of that. Anyways, so its old stone walls and Gothic style architecture give it the unmistakable haunted vibe. And the original owner, who is since deceased, still resides in the buildings with his niece and one of his employees who all perished under, quote, mysterious circumstances.
I mean, I can't understand why he and his niece are choosing to stay there, but like, also mysterious circumstances. I feel like somebody knew something too much.
Well, certain rooms, notably the dining hall and the tower room, are known for sudden drops in temperature, feeling of unease, especially on warm days. There are unexplained footsteps, whispers, faint laughter, and have been heard after hours when everybody's gone. Some guests claim to hear the sounds of piano playing softly into the night, though no piano is present in the house.
That means there was at one time, and it's probably his niece that is still playing it.
It's probably an echo. You're right. And staff and visitors have reported doors opening and closing by themselves, lights flickering on and off. Items have been found out of place or completely missing, only to reappear later. The reoccurring legend is that a woman in a flowing white dress is seen roaming the upper floors. Some say she is the spirit of the original owner's wife who tragically passed away in the house. Then there's the story of the tragic bride, or the lady in white, is often told as the bride, who died on her wedding day shortly after moving into the castle. There is also a hidden room that is stated to be buzzed about, a secret room or passage used during Prohibition for smuggling illicit meetings, or illicit meetings where paranormal activity is the strongest. There's a phantom musician, which we talked about, the piano. You cannot go inside the house, but you can visit the neighborhood and see strange silhouettes in the windows, as the house is now owned and operated by a private person. I have no idea where he went. He probably took her outside. Then there's Greenwood Cemetery, noted as one of the city's oldest and most haunted burial grounds, located in Spokane. I'm going to get it wrong the whole episode, aren't I?
Possibly. I'm just along for the ride.
I am so sorry, Washingtonites. You can make fun of me in the comments. I don't care. Almost every teenager in Washington has been dared to go here, and there is a story to share, along with one of them being in a Nirvana song about the 1,000 steps. These steps are in this cemetery. So the Elks built a mausoleum here with a 7-foot tall bronze elk statue, which went missing, but recently was returned in 2019 when the club went bankrupt, was when it went missing. The statue sits atop the stairs as a final resting place to the people in 1898. It's also been noted that the groundskeepers will dress up as priests, ghosts, and other haunting characters to roam around the grounds during the month of Halloween. Many people who visit here hear voices, see women and children, and often feel wetness on their skin, guys. That's called condensation.
What if it's not? What if something licked them?
I am not a lollipop.
I think your husband begs to differ, but okay.
Ma'am, this is not that kind of show. You dirty. I love it, but you dirty. So moving on, visitors have seen figures wandering among the graves, especially near the older sections. Some are said to appear in period clothing and were possibly early pioneers or miners. There are whispers, soft baby crying, I know, and even distant singing have been heard by those visiting alone at dusk or at night. Footsteps sometimes follow visitors even when no one is around. Certain areas within the cemetery are known for sudden cold drafts and a heavy atmosphere. It's the great outdoors. It's going to happen. Several visitors have been reported seeing small orbs of light following between the headstones or near the old mausoleum. Guys, I will say this again. It is fireflies.
We good?
They just came in from outside. I was correct. So there is a local fable. Hello. What are you doing? Crackhead. So local story tells of a woman who lost her child and is said to appear near the oldest graves, quietly mourning. Those who see her feel a deep sadness and sometimes can hear her sobbing.
That is horrible. I'm so sad for her.
It was probably her only child, so I get it. There is a miner's ghost, giving the mining history of Washington. Tales abound of restless miners whose spirits still wander Greenwood Cemetery. Some see a lone soldier standing watch over the cemetery grounds, believed to be either the soldier or a former caretaker. Protective spirits have been known to be seen. They feel a comforting presence guarding the cemetery, ensuring peace of all that who are buried here. Um, there's also a prank that once you start to go up the stairs, you want to immediately turn back because you see something. That's not a thing, guys. It's just a mirage because you're walking up literally 1,000 steps. I believe Sam's father has the phone because he just texted me from her Snapchat his face, and I was like, well, okay. There is the Hua 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 Ho River Trail. It is located in the picturesque Olympic National Park. You can't find Twilight vampires here, but you can find ghosts. There aren't sparkly bitches covered in Bath and Body Works. The Ho River Trail winds through one of the largest temperate rainforests in the U.S., rich with towering old growth, trees, moss-covered landscapes, and Native American history. I have been there. Guys, if you have a chance, go. It's stunning. You remember that picture of the trail with the trees that I showed you? That's from there. It's stunning. I'll see if I can find it in our... We text all day, every day. I don't know if I'll find it, but if I do, I'll put it here. The whole rainforest itself has been considered a place of spiritual power by the local. I'm going to butcher this again, so we're just going to Quinaults. Quinault? Okay, close enough. Quinault. Quinault Nation. This location has been rumored to host activities of Satan worshippers and cults in the 70s. Some people claim that there were hoofoots or goat-like men lurking around wearing dark robes. It's not Mr. Tumnus and the Saint fucking Narnia. It was people pulling shit. Hikers have reported hearing faint voices, chanting, or drumming sounds coming from deep within the forest, especially near dusk. Some people say these echoes of ancient tribal ceremonies or spirits communicating with the living. Several accounts tell dark humanoid shapes glimpsed between the trees. Some say they vanish when approached. These figures are sometimes described as tall, thin, and blending almost perfectly in with forest shadows. Local native legends speak of forest guardians or spirits who protect the land. Many hikers report feeling watched or guided, sometimes sensing an invisible presence keeping them safe and warm. At night, unusual lights or orbs have been spotted floating through the forest canopy, dancing near the riverbanks, disappearing before hikers get a closer look. Guys, again, fireflies. Even on warmer days, some cold patches or misty fog banks seem to rise unexpectedly. It's called global warming, guys. The spirit of Mount Olympus, the mountain at the trail's end, is sacred to the Quinault and the other tribes, said to be home to powerful spirits who watch over the forest. If you see anything there, leave it. It's not yours. You can't take it. There are stories that tell of hikers who vanished without a trace along the trail, and some claiming their spirits remain wandering the woods. And we talked about the forest guardians, but we're now going to talk about one of my favorite sites. Yeah, I can't pause it. This is stupid. Known as Kel's Irish Pub and Restaurant. So you remember that Irish restaurant I told you about that had the great food? This is it. So, noted for its shepherd's pie, Guinness, and St. Paddy's Day celebrations, you might not notice that it's haunted at first glance. It's known as the most haunted pub in all of North America and has been featured on such shows as Ghost Hunters with their lovely bagel hands and a few other as Haunted America and ID Discovery. Originally used as the Butterworth Mortuary for the city of Spokane, bodies were brought in and out of the building through the same door ghosts use as the entrance to the bar.
I mean, that's how the bodies came in and went out, so it makes sense.
Yeah. Well, as of today, the number of guests have reported seeing someone named Charlie in the mirror, a little girl sitting beside them at the bar. Glasses are known to slide to the floor and shatter when no one is there, and mirrors shatter with no impact and hear disembodied voices. Some of the bodies that pass through the mortuary here have been victims of another haunted location, which actually gets its own episode. I have the notes on here. We're going to talk on a later date about known as the Starvation Heights Sanatorium.
I absolutely hate that name.
We're going to talk about a tiny bit of history on it, but I'll be right back. Did you miss me?
I just realized I was muted. You said miss me? I said always.
Crack addict is under my feet.
Yeah, I saw her tail.
Okay. So, back at it. Okay. So, multiple patrons and staff have reported seeing shadowy figures and full-bodied apparitions, including a man dressed in old-fashioned morgue worker attire, because there was a full regalia, in indistinct forms drifting through the bar upstairs. Sudden temperature drops, icy cold spots, whispers, footsteps, doors creaking when no one's there. They even hear faint moaning or crying, believed to be residual energy from those once held in the morgue.
I mean, it makes sense.
Right, because the sanitarium, they get their own episode for a good reason. I'll talk about that in a little bit. But, so the morgue keeper was the most famous spirit to be a morgue attendant who remains tied to the building, still doing his job by watching over the dead and the living. And some believe the pub is haunted by the spirits of the bodies once stored there, many who died tragic and violent deaths. However, there is a haunted happy hour where regulars spot odd occurrences during busy nights like sudden cold breezes or unexplained noises, because there are no open windows or doors.
At least not currently. Apparently there would have been at one point. That's why they go through things that seem like there is nothing there.
Right. Well, and of course, we have another house known as the Meeker Mansion. It was built in 1890 by pioneers Ezra and Eliza Meeker. They were responsible for setting up Palia, the city. So the mansion is rich with history and includes serving as a hospital and a home for Civil War widows and orphans, and then becoming a nursing home before being restored to a museum in the 1970s. So all in all, it was a well-rounded, she is asleep on my chair, so I can't move it. Okay, so we're just stuck here.
I mean, she's done with her crackhead time. It's nap time.
Of course, she has 3 naps a day and she just conks out. So, visitors and staff have reported seeing the following. Witnesses have seen full body apparitions of Ezra and Eliza Meeker. What are you doing? She's chewing on the leg. Often in their former bedroom or around the property, disembodied voices, sounds of footsteps, whispers, even snoring have been heard in empty rooms. Come here, you little shit. Okay. Stop it. Thank you. No. Stop being a crack addict, okay? Go visit your father. She's just one ear is just. Anyways, so a strong.
I absolutely love the floppy ear.
I do too. She's so cute. Are you okay? She's just sitting underneath my feet now. So, strong smell of floral perfume, possibly from Eliza's personal stash of perfume, has been reported in various parts of the mansion. There have been shadowy figures moving through the rooms and hallways, sometimes disappearing upon a closer inspection. Its use as a hospital and an elderly home may contribute to its haunted reputation, but presence of numerous former inhabitants combined by the mansion's age creates a setting ripe for paranormal activity. The mansion is open to the public for self-guided tours and hosts various events. For the years, given its reputation, it's a popular destination for those interested in history and the paranormal. If you're intrigued by historical sites, go to the Meeker Manor. Next, we have the Mount Baker Theater, which was renowned for its rich history. It opened in 1927 in Spanish Moorish style and has witnessed nearly a century of performances. And along with that comes with ghostly tales. It's a huge landmark on Bellingham's skyline, and Mount Baker opened when Mount Baker opened. Known for cold spots, disembodied voices, balls of light, and even apparitions, this theater is known for its historical fans and ghostly tenants. Hey, stop.
Reasons 1006 why I will never have a puppy again.
He wanted a puppy. Well, give her the tug toy. So, historical ghostly tenants that have taken over this theater are Judy, Jeffrey, Sully, which we had a Sully earlier, and many more. The most famous apparition is for Judy, which is one of the 4 ghosts known to haunt the theater. She's believed to be a young woman whose home was demolished to make way for the theater's construction. Witnesses describe her as flirtatious, often engaging with the male staff and visitors, sometimes playfully tugging on their clothes and whispering in their ears. Her presence is most commonly felt in the balcony area. Jeffrey, another reported spirit, is a well-dressed man in either a pinstripe suit or a tux. He is often sported in the theater's corridors and thought to be a former patron who frequented the venue during its early years. Sully is more of a benign presence. He doesn't really interact a lot with people. He's known for sitting in the theater's cafe, sipping coffee. And unlike the more active spirits, Sully's appearances are calm and unthreatening. Visitors and staff have reported floating orbs, cold spots, disembodied voices, apparitions, and in keeping in the theatrical tradition, Mount Baker Theater maintains a ghost light, which most theaters do, a single bulb left burning in the center of the stage when the theater is unoccupied. It still has many performances to this day, and they do have ghost hunters come there pretty frequently. There are 2 mental hospitals, which we will discuss at the Starvation Heights episode, one of them being Northern State Mental Hospital, and the other one being Starvation Heights. We're not going to talk about it today because that's just opening up.
It'll be a topic for itself if there's enough interest.
Because right now we're at an hour and 30, and I'm just skipping ahead to the most haunted. So one of the places that I liked visiting was Pike Place. I caught a fish. It was great. I have not fished, but I caught a fish. Big difference. It's super haunted, and it was built on native burial grounds.
Like most places are, because white men.
So Princess Angeline, the daughter of the chief of Seattle, lived in a home that was between Pike and Pine Streets. When she passed, she was laid to rest at Lakeview Cemetery, which is on Capitol Hill. She is frequently spotted at the market, like all the time. So another ghostie is Arthur Goodwin, who is often seen browsing books at the Goodwin Library, named after him, or swinging golf clubs at his old office, which is still near Pike Place. Several other stories have been seen by apparitions from barbers, psychics, and children. People see them all over. However, my favorite part of this whole episode is the next topic, which has been seen in Twilight, Port Townsend. In this area, it's not listed to one location, but spirits are said to freely roam the town and is frequently visited 25 other locations in the area, such as the Rothschild's house, the Fort Worden, and Callum County Fairgrounds. Port Townsend is haunted because of its dark history with shipwrecks, unexplained phenomenon, Shanghaiing Victorian ghosts, and it is a port hub of natural paranormal activity. So the whole town is haunted. There are numerous views. I saw a barber, I saw a chief, and I saw just a man. So there are lots. I just like going there for the history and the architecture. Port Townsend is great for that. Last but not least, which will get its own episode, is the Whitman Massacre National Historic Site.
I really don't like that name at all.
which is why I saved it for last.
Of course. Thanks, I think.
Well, we don't have to give it its own episode because I got everything in this one little knot. So, note.
Definitely note.
It's not a knot, it's a note. So, it is noted as by far one of the most haunted places in all of Washington. It is home in Walla Walla. So, Walla Walla is known for its wineries, food, downtown scene, and everybody thinks that Walla Walla is super peaceful. Not always. So, the Whitman Massacre National Historic Site is near Walla Walla, Washington, and commemorates the tragic 1847 event involving Marcus and Narcissa Whitman, missionaries who established a mission among the Cayuse Native American tribe. You and I both know, a white man, no. The couple settled into the territory of the Cayuse and Nez Perce tribes. Tension rose during the cultural clashes, disease outbreak, especially measles, because blankets, and misunderstandings. So, November 29th, 1847, a group of Cayuse warriors attacked the mission, killing Marcus and Narcissa Whitman, along with 11 other people. This event sparked the Cayuse War between settlers and the tribe. Marcus treated both white and native patients, but because of lack of immunity, more than half of the native tribe died, including nearly all of their children. So, understandably, they were pissed. So,
I keep forgetting I'm muted.
In native culture, a lot of the people up until maybe the last 2 decades, they weren't as immunized as other people, which is really, really sad. A lot of the local clinics weren't getting things that they should have been getting. So of course, in the setting in 1847, the tribe blamed the couple for the deaths because the Cayuse tribe holds medicine men responsible for patients' deaths, which is true. The tribe allegedly ambushed the couple on their property, killing them both and 11 other people in the process. This site was a massacre that started the war, resulting in numerous battles over the course of 7 years. So it preserves the location of mission and includes interpretive markers about the history and the impact of the conflict on Native American Native American tribes and settlers' relations. What has been seen on the actual site, the location, I didn't want to go there because I knew it was going to be bad. So, restless spirits, visitors, and locals have seen eerie sensations around the site. Some claim to feel an unsettled or sickly presence, believed to be the spirits of those who perished during the massacre. There have been rare reports of shadowed figures near the historic mission area, where some interpret as the lingering souls of the Whitmans or the Cayuse warriors. Unexplained sounds have been heard, such as distant echoes of gunshots, cries, and faint whispers, especially around dusk or during quiet moments at the site. It is managed by the National Park Service, so if you have that national park thing that we talked about that you should get, it pays for the whole year. They offer educational exhibits and walking trails. It is a solemn place of remembrance and a reflection on the complex and tragic chapter of Pacific Northwest history, especially those with white men and settlers. And I'm not talking about one of our listeners whose last name is Whiteman. Not talking about you. I'm talking about the actual white man. Visitors interested in paranormal experiences, and they often visit at twilight, not the movie, between dusk and nightfall. Though the site is peaceful and respectful, observance is encouraged. They're asked that people who come to the site do remain respectful and quiet because it is still considered a site of observance for Native tribes in the area. And unfortunately, that is what we have for today for Washington State. I loved researching it, but you hated hearing it.
Absolutely hated hearing it.
I'm not sorry.
So much death. So much death.
I'm not sorry.
I know you're not.
Eat it.
No thanks.
Well, at least it's not arsenic.
I mean, but massacres, I mean, I'd rather take arsenic.
You know, yeah, but at the same time, I loved researching this because there were some of the places that I went to, which if you could go and stand in these spots, it's humbling.
Yeah, like I'm not saying that the state's not pretty and gorgeous. It's just the murders and the deaths I don't like. Which I know, like deaths happen. It's a way of life, but just the death of the innocents, I think, is what gets me.
I mean, I have to agree because like I keep getting low rolls on Monopoly. It pisses me off. Um the one thing that I have to say that's like it was super insensitive during the time of beginning of COVID when everybody was starting to travel more. There was that one yoga influencer that got seriously demolished by her following because she decided to do a few yoga poses on the Holocaust memorial.
Yeah, I remember. Like, she deserved all of that.
She really did. So, I mean, if you guys go to these sites, just remember there are still active tribes in that area. Quillette. That's the name of the tribe. Quillette. Ah, it took me the whole episode to remember the pronunciation. But, listen, you're laughing, but English is my second language.
I know. And English is my first language, and I still have issues with words. So, I mean, I get it. 100%.
I mean, it's one of those things where it's like you have to remember to be utterly respectful when visiting these sites. And I know our listeners will be because they're not absolute shitheads. They're feral. They're part of the possum party.
You can be feral and not be an absolute shithead.
Agreed. But in that case, as Emily would say, do stupid.
Just because you like garbage doesn't mean you need to act like garbage.
And we're not talking about the people you're dating.
Well, only sometimes.
So, as Emily would say,
Do the stupidest of shit.
don't do
Don't
stupid
do.
shit.
Don't do it at all.
Stay feral.
And bite the hand.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye. That's all for this episode. Stay feral, and we'll see you party possums next time.